Hello everybody and welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson and I am joined by Adam McKola, Joshi and Statman Daddy, and we are going to be doing a huge debate, 3 in, 3 out. The cards are going to help us pick, and to make it a little bit more difficult, what we're going to do is we're going to say that you can only pick on the outs first team squad members, so no obscure youth team players that no one cares about, that have played first team minutes. So actually Michael Carrick isn't one of those that's available. That means there's 24 players available and we're going to be getting rid of 9 of them. So this is going to get deep into the squad. We're going to see some agendas coming out here, I am absolutely certain. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the ins. We're going to let the cards decide in which order. Remember, you can only pick the one player that wants. So you all can't say you want to sign Griezmann. You all can't say you want to sign Messi. If someone picks that player, he's no longer available for pick, and that's on the ins and on the outs. I'm going to select a card. And we're going to go alphabetical. Dave. Adam, do you want to go first and tell me what you think this is?
7.
Dave?
8.
I mean, we are supposed to be telling suits as well, just as a bit of a tiebreaker. But all right, Joshi.
I'm gonna go 6 tactical.
Completely screwed Adam up. Right, well, it was the ace of hearts. That means Joshi, you go first. Adam, you are second. Dave, you are third. Give us all your first picks, a little bit of a reason why. Then we'll go to your second picks, and so on until we get to the all 3, and then you get a bit of a 30-second round where you tell us about your 3 all in a one-er, and I'll tell you where you're all wrong. Right, Joshi, do you want to lead us from the front and tell us who your first pick for Manchester United to sign? And remember, it's this window, so not the summer, we're talking about right now.
All right, mate, yeah. So I've obviously looked at this from a realistic perspective. I haven't gone for like a Messi or a Cristiano Ronaldo. Or anyone
like BBC News.
I know, right? Hey, buddy, I'm just on the phone. You have to go and ask.
Just take the piss and get out, lad.
All right, sorry about that. I'm sure it'll disturb me again. But anyway, I've gone a bit of realism. I've identified a couple of areas where
is one of them the one Dave's been getting giddy about all week?
I've identified the areas where I think we need some options. I think right wing is one of those options.
He's going to screw Dave up. I love it.
and central midfield as well. But I think my first choice in this window, and also because it might screw Dave up a little bit, I'll go with that.
Yes.
I'll go with that. The young Brazilian Malcolm from Bordeaux.
Yes.
No, honestly, I was weighing it up between him. Someone like and a few other players. I won't mention them because I think others will mention them later. But this young lad, he's been he's been tearing up trees every now and then for Bordeaux this season. But the thing is, he offers that really that wide option on that right hand side, which I think at the moment we're really lacking someone to play there. We have got players that can play there, but I'm not sure that we have players who are naturally suited to that area, especially players who will stick to that wide position. So he's a young player. He's someone who will stick to that wide position, but he'll come in and onto his left foot and attack inside towards the centre backs, take shots from long range as well. This I think is kind of ideal for someone like Antonio Valencia down that right hand side, because with Malcolm sort of cutting inside, you've got that overlap. And I think that's what works at the moment when we've got someone like Mata playing on that side. What doesn't work with someone like Mata is that lack of pace. He doesn't travel with the ball very quickly, compared to someone like Malcolm, and he does. He's also not going to be cut-tied for Champions League. So if he does sign, he can come in and play. He's another option in the Champions League. And I think he could play across that. He has got a bit of versatility, so he can play across that attacking trio. But I would have thought that right-hand side is set up for him. He plays in a 4-3-3 at Bordeaux. Again, that was something that I think would suit us as well. He'd be used to that system. And he's got good energy, good work rate as well, something that Mourinho will like. And linking up with someone like Lukaku, I think, would be quite nice. Cutting inside, getting balls into that far post, or feeding Valencia in on that overlapping run, getting balls into that near post. I think it would work quite nicely for Lukaku. And also the inside balls into the channels for the striker. So all in all, I think it'd be a good, really good signing. Someone gettable, because it's not like we're trying to sign, Bale from Real Madrid. And I think the fee, there's no point talking about transfer fees at the moment. So I think he's someone that would really inject some dynamism, some pace, some creativity, a bit of Brazilian magic. He's young. And also, this is not just a signing for this season; it's a signing for next season and beyond as well. So, in this, if you think about the likes of Vidic and Evra, when they signed, they had that settling in period signed in January, had that settling in period, and then really came into their own the following year. So, I think all in all, it would solve quite a few problems for us, and it's a long-term signing, and he's a quality player.
McKola, you're next up. Who is your first pick?
Yeah. I've gone with one easy choice that I think a few people might pick, so I've gone for it first. I hate doing things like this, especially in January. I don't mind in the summer, but I honestly, genuinely don't feel like Manchester United are going to sign anyone. That is my disclaimer out of the way. Now I can go stupid with it. So, my first one through the door is Ronaldinho. I'm only joking. It is. Well, I think this lad at Crystal Palace is a young right back / centre half, and I think he'd do a job for us. Well, only joking. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going with Riyad Mahrez first on the right hand side. I think Riyad Mahrez. Now look, in real life, if we were to get him, I'd be more keen on like a loan deal, which is unrealistic, because Mahrez strikes me as someone that I think if we give him a 4 or 5 year deal, he's going to turn to shit after a good season or something like that. But Riyad Mahrez, I think, would be quality for at least the next 6 months and at least the first 12 months of his contract. He's a fantastic player, can play on the right-hand side. He's already got 8 goals in 24 games for Leicester City this season, and that's apparently with him wanting to leave. He's already got a league winners medal under his belt, plays on the right-hand side. We really, really need width at the moment. And I think Riyad Mahrez is someone that could give us that natural width, someone that can beat a defender, someone that can get a ball into the box. And I think Romelu Lukaku has been in for a lot of criticism over the last couple of weeks. But when you look at it, Rashford and Martial have stopped kind of scoring and delivering assists as regularly as they were. Mkhitaryan's out of the team. He's not firing. Matt has been in form. Lingard's been in form. But even with those guys playing well, Romelu Lukaku's been lacking chances really badly. So I think Riyad Mahrez is someone that could come in, create chances, hit the floor running straight away in the Premier League. And he's not someone that you hear links with us to Lucas Moura. Now, I wouldn't be totally against that in a loan move, because maybe you could inspire something or rescue something. We've been linked with Malcolm again, he's another young player. But I feel like those two kind of players are very, very risky players. Manchester United need guaranteed goals, guaranteed assists, and I think Riyad Mahrez would bring that.
Nice and succinct. I like that. Learn that, Josh.
Although Adam did.
Didn't say answer back, did I? That wasn't in the briefing. Zip it.
I mean,
Zip it. Right.
Undermined his own argument at the beginning by saying he'll only play for 6 months.
At least I'm honest.
David, would you like to give us your second choice? Because we all know Malcolm was your first choice.
Yeah, no, just to touch on Malcolm, I think as well.
No, David. I want your second choice. I don't want you to talk about Malcolm. You can get to talk about other people's picks later. I want your second pick.
There's a Brazilian guy that plays in Liga for Bordeaux who's quite good. I can't mention his name because I'm not allowed. But I think another quality that wasn't mentioned by Josh is ability to hit the ball from range.
Without rules and anarchy, what are you doing?
From outside the area. But in terms of who I'm going to pick, obviously I've lost my first choice. So I'm trying to find like a right-sided player. I think there's a bit of a lack of right-sided players in world football right now, and it's something that Man United need, especially in the final third. You see United struggles over Christmas. It's because they're a bit too narrow. You know, the front three come together, they come very narrow, and there's not enough width to really stretch teams. So that's why someone like a Malcolm could be quite good, someone like a Mahrez could be quite good. But why not just go out there and sign someone like Thomas Muller? I think Thomas Muller isn't really got a sort of starting berth in this sort of Bayern Munich team at the moment under the new manager. I think he's He's in and out the side. Last season, he got his best ever record in terms of assists in the league, and I think he could still do a fantastic job on that right-hand side. Of course, the work rate, the ability to drift into space. We all remember the World Cup where he exploded onto the scene. It was fantastic of sort of, linking with the fullback and covering him and sort of, drifting inside and making all those moves. So I think if you take Malcolm as the young guy, you take Mahrez as the Premier League guy, if you were to go out there and money wasn't an issue and potentially it isn't for Manchester United, getting someone like Thomas Muller right now, of course he was linked with the club previously under Louis van Gaal, maybe would have played inside, but maybe taking him back to his roots on that right wing could revitalise him as a player, because he looks like at Bayern that maybe it's the next step, the next big challenge for him, and it could be at Manchester United. Of course, the 12 assists and the 5 goals last season, very, very good numbers for a player that's starting to get into his prime. Would help United. It would help the young players as well. You're thinking the likes of Pogba, Rashford, Martial. Thomas Muller's done it all. World Cup, Champions League, he's done absolutely everything. And his leadership in the dressing room could be quality, given that Zlatan is probably going to be gone at the end of the season. So even signing Muller in January and then, for the summer and so forth, could be a really good option for United.
That's a bit of a bolt out of the blue. I like it. I do like it. Joshi, give us your second choice, please.
Hold on.
What?
Don't we do the cards again?
No.
No.
Pay attention to what I said at the start.
Okay. So
It's because I lost, right? So I've got to go at the end each time.
That's what you get to search, Dave.
I mean, I don't know who Dave's second and third and fourth picks were, but anyway, I've also identified central midfield as an area, and I think with United going forward, when we're playing against the bigger sides, the better sides, we need a 4-3-3. And at the moment, we've got Matic, Pogba, and Herrera, and we've seen what happens when Pogba isn't around. And I don't think, as well as Herrera has played in the past and in recent weeks, he has been getting better. When you think about Fellaini's contract coming up, Carrick isn't there. You need that. We don't have that depth really, and as well as McTominay has played, he's not really. I wouldn't say he's burst onto the scene. He's done a tidy job, so I'm not sure whether or not he's going to be doing anything long term. So I would definitely say central midfield is something I would go for. Now I've looked around, I've thought about this, and I've kind of ended up plumping for Leon Goretzka. If I pronounce that right, for a few reasons, not just his quality in that area, but also his contract is coming up to an end in the summer. So he's potentially someone we could get now if we stumped up a fairly decent fee. He's not cup tied, so again he would come into the Champions League squad, and he sits in that sort of box to box role. He's very good defensively, but equally going forward he's very composed on the ball. So it offers a bit more than Herrera. Herrera's a bit sort of energetic, gets all over the place. But when he's on the ball, he's very composed. He can spot a through ball, but he's also strong in the tackle. He's big as well. He's 6 foot plus. He's a big lad, so he's very physical. Something again that Jose Mourinho would like. And he offers a different option to Matic and Pogba, obviously, who we know all about them. So, and at 22 years old, he's got a lot of learning to do, and then again, coming in at a really good age to grow alongside Pogba, alongside all of the young players that we've got in that squad. So this is again not just a signing for this season and a realistic one. It's also signing for the long term, and he brings real quality in that midfield.
I like that. It's a nice shout there, Joshi, from your number 2 pick.
Shame he signed for Bayern Munich, eh?
He hasn't signed for him.
No, there's reports in the Bild
There's
who are quite good in
reports
Germany.
and there's rumours.
I'd go with it. I'd bet on the Bild for their German club, Bayern Munich. They've been
fair,
quite good over the last few years.
Does he play in Germany? Is he German? If he hasn't signed for him now, he's going to play for him at some point, isn't he? Let's face it, if he's good.
But look,
I like it. Listen, we're in the land of make-believe. We're selling 9 players today.
There we go.
Don't worry about it. Adam McKola, choice number 2, please, Flower.
Is this in, yeah?
In, mate, yeah. Stick it in.
Okay, I've gone with... Oh, what do I do first? Okay, I'm going to leave... I don't mind, I've got 3 choices for my third, my big signing. And, I kind of need help with it because I can't pick. So I'm going to let the other guys pick and hope one of them gets picked and I get forced into one. So my next signing is Ryan Sessegnon of Fulham, the left-back, left-sided player, can also play left wing. He scored 14 goals in 58 appearances for Fulham in the Championship. He's only 17-year-old. Now, Fulham are a team that have been playing very good football in the last couple of years. I'm surprised they're not really fighting for promotion this season. I thought they'd carry on and do well and come up, but they haven't pushed on. But Ryan Sessegnon, someone that continues to impress for them, has been linked with a lot of clubs away from there. And with Luke Shaw still about, like, I would hate for us to go out and buy a 40-50 million pound left back, someone like Danny Rose, someone like Sandro, that is just going to come in and be expecting to start every single game. And it would probably mean we need to sell Luke Shaw to recoup some of the money. So Ryan Sessegnon, someone that I think if we can keep Luke Shaw in the side, keep him playing regularly like he has done in December, then Sessegnon, someone that could play just behind him. It could also be used out wide as well, because we've got to think if we do plan on signing a wide player, Martial, Rashford are probably going to be used more through the middle. So then we'll need extra cover out wide as well. So Ryan Sessegnon, someone that I've gone with. Yeah.
Someone that we are linked with as well. Interesting. David, who's next on your list?
Ryan Sessegnon, like him. I think as well, what I like about what he does is he...
Hang on,
Can
Dave.
I just add something here, Howson?
Dave,
I'm trying to
there's
add
a
some
30
quality.
I don't care.
Keep jumping in.
There's a 30-second round where you get to give your opinion on other people's and your own. At the moment, what did I say? What was the words that came out of my mouth? Dave, give me your next choice. Not Dave, would you like to evaluate the previous person's choice? It was Dave, give me your next choice. Don't make me come round there and bitch slap you. Give me your next choice.
Dave, I was here first, so I'm going to ask you. Tell me a bit about Ryan Sessegnon, Dave.
Ryan Sessegnon, I like his movement from left fullback. He makes very unorthodox moves where he often finds himself in behind the back line from a left back position. Fulham, they tuck in quite narrow with their three forwards behind, a striker. And it's quite interesting to see him making these late runs, but he's got the composure to finish off. That's all I wanted to add, Howson. It was literally 30 seconds of stuff. So if you could just shut your mouth for a second.
Like Judge Judy, you talk when I tell you to talk. All right.
Anyway, in terms of who I think, I agree with Joshi. I think central midfield is an area where Man United may need to strengthen, whether it is now or in the summer. I think Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio, Sergi to his pals, could be a great signing. You're thinking about him as a player to talk about him. You think Marouane Fellaini, but the next version of Marouane Fellaini. We know Marouane Fellaini's strengths. You can play him at number 10. You can play long balls to him. You can play him in a very aggressive role where he's winning tackles, he's getting into the opponent's face, but he is very limited on the ball. That's something that Sergi isn't. Sergi isn't limited on the ball. He's got very, very good feet. He completed 60% of his dribbles so far this season. He's got the drag back, got the skills. A little bit like Paul Pogba, which is quite interesting that he is quite a tall striker, tall central midfielder, but has the feet to go round someone in terms of his aggression will be perfect for the Premier League. Great at sliding tackles, winning the ball back, and getting Lazio moving through the thirds. And also tactically can play a number of different roles. Mention the sort of box-to-box role in, say, three-man midfield. He can play there. He can play the Marouane Fellaini number 10 if United wanted to go long. He's played in a few different positions in Lazio's either a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2, either in the midfield or as the two behind the striker. So he's a very impressive player for me since the start of last season, scored 9 goals and grabbed 9 assists from that central sort of midfield area. So I think him and Paul Pogba is the next iteration of Manchester United's midfield. If we're talking evolution on the counter-attack, you think you've got Paul Pogba that can carry, that can win the ball back. You've got someone like Sergi that can carry, that can win the ball back. That's kind of like the kryptonite to Manchester City's midfield. If they play their 3-8s and their 3-8s are, Silva and De Bruyne are messing about, floating in between the lines, you've got these two powerhouses with Nemanja Matic. You win the ball and you transition. That is how United can beat this Manchester City team. It's power, it's pace, it's height. And it's not being afraid to go long to someone like a Savic or a Marouane Fellaini. So for me, he'd be perfect in Man United's midfield, would add power, strength, and would be the perfect partner to Paul Pogba.
Are you finished?
Hold on, one more thing.
All right, there we go. There's your first 2 picks. Here's your final pick coming up. Joshi, who is the third man on your list?
All right, so again, thinking about this season and long term, it's a difficult one. But I've gone again, I want a bit of depth at central midfield, and to be honest, yeah, I'm going to go with this lad. I'm going to go with Fabinho. He could play right back, he could play centre back. He's got excellent ability. He's, again, another physical specimen, athletic. 24, coming again into a good age. At Monaco, where I think, they're no longer that side that we saw last season. And I think he's a player that's looking for that next step. He's equally comfortable at right back and central midfield. He could basically, what I'm seeing for him is come in. He's got that versatility to cover for Antonio Valencia or even replace Antonio Valencia in the long term, or at the same time come in and play in that Matic role as well. He's not quite the same type of player as Matic because he can carry the ball forward a bit better, and he's a lot more sort of mobile than Matic. But I think in that sitting area, if you thought about it in the long term, given his age, you've got Fabinho, I said Goretzka, and you've got Pogba. That type of midfield is very dynamic. A couple of them can interchange, and you could develop really good triangles and relationships between that. So, and the depth, we need that depth in that central midfield area, given who I'm going to be launching, or potentially launching. And I think with his Champions League experience, he's got a lot of experience at that age, and we know he's got the quality to play at the highest level. I just think he needs that step up. We could provide that, and he would inject some real impetus into that midfield from the base of that midfield.
Interesting. Heavily linked to the summer.
Long term again. So not just season, it's long term. He's 24 years old and over 6 foot, so fits into that Mourinho mould again.
Mr. McKola.
Lo, 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 lo. We're coming back, lads.
Brother man, Falco.
Seriously?
No, he's not coming back. But he might, but he's not yet. I've gone with this one. Mesut Ozil is a player, yeah. Now, I'd take Mesut Ozil as long as we're making sure Juan Mata's staying. You know, I don't want this to be a replacement for Mata. Mata's a big part of this squad, and I think in the last year or so, he's showed his experience, and we need to keep him around, whether he's starting or not. But Mesut Ozil, for a few reasons. One, we can get him very cheap or free. Happy days, the Glazers will love that. Two, it'll boil loads of piss down that North London, and that will be amazing in itself. Remember the scenes when they signed Ozil for 40 million? They acted like they won the World Cup. Do you remember? Remember that? Now, could you imagine the scenes if he leaves for free to go to Manchester United?
But he won't leave for free this window.
It will be glorious. It will be absolutely glorious. So I think
the revisionism is going to be worth it alone. Just start screenshotting Arsenal fans jizzing over Ozil right now.
I'm going to be winding them up saying he's the best in the world just to piss them off. So let me get that in now. In terms of Mesut Ozil, I feel like he is, on his day, a very, very good player. He's world class on his day. He's a little bit like Mkhitaryan, except Mesut Ozil has done it in a World Cup and has won the Champions League, etc. Mkhitaryan hasn't got that behind him. But I feel like Ozil is now playing more consistently because of the fact he needs a new contract. It's that simple. And once he gets that contract, is he going to have that same consistency, that same everything about him? I think that's up to his manager. Jose Mourinho obviously likes him, even though he calls him a coward and things like that. It's like a love-hate relationship. But if he thinks he can get the best out of him and we can get him for cheap or free, I think it's a move that makes total sense. It would mean that we've still got a lot of funds. Because, yes, Manchester United do have a lot of money, but we're not going to go out this summer and buy 6 players for 50 million, 5 players for 50. It's not happening. So if we can get a world-class player for free, that in a position that we need to fill, and then keep the money to spend elsewhere, I think that would be a great move. So Mesut Ozil is my third player. Mahrez, Sessegnon, Ozil.
Yeah, we are talking about this window, though, so he won't be free.
Well, he'll be cheap.
Just saying.
The only point I'd say is that you said that it's a position we need to fill. I'm not 100% certain.
I think it is. I think
we'll cover that in the third set.
No. I've got to be able to come back if you're going to say that. Once Mkhitaryan goes, which is looking likely, I doubt we're ever going to see Andreas Pereira again, unfortunately. I was going to bring him back, but obviously rules have been changed and all that balls. But
Lingard, Gomez.
I think Mata's quality, Lingard's quality as well. I still think we need one more. Gomez isn't going to be playing week in, week out next season.
Don't do it to me. Anyway, right, okay. Dave, Don't want to
So
hear what
before
you
we
think
move
about
on, obviously,
Ozil. I literally just want to hear you
I have to talk about
your next
Ozil.
pick.
The guys want it now. They want it. They want me to talk about Adam's selection because Adam makes such great selections. I've got to be like, you know what, Adam? You are right with that, man. Ozil
Guess who's not winning this debate?
would be a great signing. I've got a few names. I've got a few names I wanted to band around. Timo Werner,
There we go.
Emil
We're going to go
Forsberg.
hipster to death here now.
But I think we're going to go
Give it a
even
Google.
further. We're going to go for a right back. I think that long-term Antonio Valencia has been fantastic for United. I'd quite like to see him a bit further forward again to give United a bit of whip on that right side. I'd quite like to see him ahead of a right back. And the guy that I reckon United should sign, if anyone, would be Sidibe from Monaco. I think he showed last season in the Champions League his calibre, his ability to get forward and whip those balls into the box. Why Monaco was so successful was Mendy and Sidibe as the fullbacks to add that whip in the final third. And that's what United lack. So Timo Werner would be good to add some attacking impetus either on the right, the left, through the middle. Emil Forsberg, creative, winger, created 120 chances since the start of the season.
Are you picking 4 players?
Sidibe
Wow.
is
Ball's
going
going
to
big
be
with
a guy
7 players there, Dave.
because I feel United lack a right back right now that can really start to create things in the final third. And he can also play on the left-hand side, could play centre-half if need be. He's grabbed 10 assists from that position. He's been injured most of this season as well. That's since the start of last season. So I think he could be a good signing for Manchester United. I think there's a few areas where I'd look at the United defence at the end of the season and maybe even January right now and say, there's a few coming in, a few going out, and Sidibe would be a great guy to get to add that width in the final third at right fullback.
They've not even seen him play once, lads.
Do you say he's injured for the whole season? That's probably not a good signing.
He's been injured this season. He's got an inflammation of his groin.
That's called an hard-on where I'm from, David.
How do we know Dave's not lying? Can someone fact check this, please?
Having wood isn't an injury, Dave. Right, I'm going to come to your comments, see what y'all think.
I always have a bit of morning stiffness. Goes away after a bit.
It's a groin inflammation, Adam. Right, William says, lads, please give me your opinion on Aubameyang. Isn't he going China? I saw that this week.
He was on my list as a potential,
And everyone is joking.
but he wouldn't come to he wouldn't come and sit on the bench. And we've got Lukaku. We spent 75 million, so I don't think he would be sanctioned by the board. Like, why would we spend 75 million? And now, Jose, you're asking for another 70 million for another striker. And I just, not that he's not a good player. I think he's a great player, but it just won't happen.
Vikram says Goretzka will join Bayern. No chance.
Yeah, but this is hypothetical, bruv.
Amit says, by the way, Lucas Moura isn't cup-tied if he didn't play a minute in the Champions League. Does it matter if you even play? I thought if you're registered in the squad, that's you. I'm not sure. Someone fact-check that for us.
You have to play.
You have to play.
Do you?
I think he has played.
I thought it was if he was just registered with somebody. Anyway, Gungshi says, imagine Crouch and Fellaini doing the robot together. Why would I want to imagine that? Weirdo. Jacob says Vidal would be class and he's played with Pogba before. So would Pirlo, but he's retired. We've got to move on from that. Yeah, I don't think he could handle the pace of the Premier League with his injury proneness. Right, next up.
Are we doing our 30 seconds or what?
Nope, we do that afterwards. When we've done the outs. I'm just making sure that I've got everything here that I need.
Are we doing a card again?
Nope. Yeah. Right. Which 4 clubs am I holding? Adam, go first.
4 clubs.
Joshi.
Is he bluffing or not?
That's the game, Adam.
So are we doing the suit as well?
Yep.
7 of spades.
David.
4 of diamonds.
It was the Queen of Spades.
You bastard.
So, I don't even know what order that came in there. So,
Me first. Yeah,
it's
me
Joshi,
first
then Dave, because I think he got the suit right, and then Adam, who was miles away. So, so Joshi goes again, then Dave, then Adam. Joshi, give us the first person you are consigning to the scrap
All
heap.
right. I'm glad I'm going first because this one I think is a pretty obvious pick. I'm going to get rid of Matteo Darmian.
No!
I think he's been... look, I don't have anything personal against the guy. He's just been absolutely shocking this season when he's played. He's consistently out of position. He's not as aggressive as I'd like him to be for an Italian defender. He's not really getting into the tackle. He doesn't offer much going forward. And just put simply, I just don't want to see him in the side anymore. That last the League Cup match against Bristol pretty much summed it all up. And yeah, he needs to go. He doesn't offer anything anymore. I mean, the fact that Lindelof comes in as a centre back to cover at right back in certain matches tells you all you need to know right now.
Yeah, it is a bit of a tap in. I'll give you that one. David, do you want to give us your first out, please?
I won't sell anyone, to be honest, Howson. I wouldn't let anyone go in the squad. I think we've got a really good squad built up. That's a really good way to play the free in, free out game. Nice one, Dave.
Dave,
if we're going to get rid of someone, let's put the greatest second backup keeper in the world. Let's sell him to somebody, get some cash. Sergio Romero out. Get Joel Pereira some extra minutes, and that's about it. I think get a bit of money, free up the wages, maybe sign somebody else. I think the United squad is well built at the moment, but we'll throw away Sergio Romero first.
But if you wanted to sign a right back, why are you not saying that selling Darmian wouldn't be?
I can't. You've already said Darmian.
No, but you got to. Where's your support of me? Like you.
Okay, first up, sorry, Howson. Let's start that again. Marco Darmian for Manchester United just hasn't been good enough going forward. I think that's a real restriction for an Italian defender. That you've just got to do a bit more in the final third. I think he's better on the left-hand side going forward than on the right-hand side, even though he's right-footed. It is crazy. He has got to go in the bin straight up.
Cheers, Dave.
No worries.
What's he got to go in?
The bin.
The bin. Adam.
Yes, mate.
Give us your out, mate.
One out, yeah?
For those who got that reference, for those who haven't a clue what we're talking about, don't worry about it.
Marouane Fellaini. I'm sorry, my sweet prince. I love you. I will miss you. We had our moments together. It was enjoyable. We had a lot of moments together, actually. So I will be very upset. But come on, apparently we offered him a contract in October and he's still not signed it. Come on, man.
Stuck the pen in his hair and can't find it.
Yeah, if you're not signed, see you later, man. I don't want no players messing around with United, especially when he's holding out for a club like Galatasaray or, someone like that. You're not going to get a club bigger than Manchester United. It's not like you've got to think about Real Madrid and Barcelona here. So I'm a little bit concerned at the fact that Marouane Fellaini thinks he can think about signing a contract at Man United. One's put in front of you, sign it straight away or do one. But I love you, Fellaini.
Joshi, who is your number 2?
Okay, so thinking about who I wanted to bring in, so switching up to a more of a 4-3-3 formation in the long term, given my signings, I think Mkhitaryan's got to go. First of all, he's just not been up to, he's just not been up to scratch this season. Losing the ball, misplaced passes. He's not holding him up. He's not offering anything. He looks devoid of confidence. And look, we know he's got quality in there somewhere. We just haven't seen it. And when we do see it, it's only in flashes. He started the season off with a whole bunch of assists, and I was just hoping that was a sign of him really going to be pushing on after settling in last season. But it just hasn't happened. So for that reason, he's got to go. But also the fact that I'm bringing in, I want to switch to more of a 4-3-3 to allow Pogba that to exert his influence more. And we've got and with the signings we've got a lot of options in those wide areas, and we can play that 4-2-3-1. We've got Lingard, we've got Mata. Even if we were to sign Malcolm and bring him in, he can play through the middle as well. So, yeah, Mkhitaryan, second choice.
Malcolm's such a gash Brazilian name.
I hate Malcolm, by the way.
Do you know why it's called Malcolm Howson? It's after Malcolm X, so it's quite important.
Yeah, but the last Malcolm we had at this club was an absolute tosser. Who cares if he's dead?
David, give us your second.
Well, first off, obviously, I've got to talk about Joshi's selection of Henrik Mkhitaryan. I think he's completely incorrect in this selection, though, because I think Mkhitaryan could still do a good job.
Right, Dave, guess what? You don't get a 30-second round. How about that?
Lacking game time. Okay, right, so 3 seconds. I would sell Daley Blind.
But he's the sexiest man at Manchester United. What are you doing? Look at his face. Look at his face.
You know what's funny? Daley Blind will get better than Man United.
I love how Dave gives more justification for everyone else's ideas than his own. Adam, give us your second that you're getting rid of.
Was there no justification?
Oh,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I just like sell him.
He only explains everyone else's decisions
Well, you
somehow.
just make decisions without explaining yourself these days.
That's what
You
happens,
are.
isn't it?
You
He's not getting a 32nd round either, so he's not winning. Adam, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Rooney. No, that's last season's notes.
Rooney.
I can't believe Dave said Daley Blind, you know. Genuine shock. It's sad that such a good footballer like Daley Blind is on the peripheral at United. It's so sad. Anyway, Ashley Young.
Gender?
No, not in the January window.
Wow.
I don't.
Wow.
I haven't really thought about January or summer. I just thought about 3
Well,
and
this
3
is
out.
a January 3 in 3 out, bro. I've automatically won
Bro.
this debate, to be honest.
I'm sorry, Youngie. I've had my moments with you as well. Right, look, Darmian would have definitely been on my list, but he's not. Ashley Young, look, Ashley Young's a fantastic player. I think he's a great squad player to have, but he's not a left back. Playing him at left back is
Yeah,
detrimental.
he's been one of our best players this season. You're mad.
No. Playing him at left back's detriment to our side. People can say he's been one of our best players this season, but I think that's because of the way Ashley Young is. His attitude, his application, he always works hard. He's always going to run around. He always does those kind of things. So he always looks like he's playing well. But in matter
There's all
of fact,
reasons to keep him.
he's out of position a lot at left back. He's not an left. And Ashley Young.
He's not. It's like the one criticism of Ashley
Why is
Young
Dave talking
previously
again?
played left back.
Why is he talking again?
He's out of position. I don't think
No, Dave.
it's
No.
absolute rubbish.
Would he get into any of our title-winning sides at left back?
Yeah, but that's not the
Would
question.
he get into any other side at left back? No.
He gets into this Man United team and he does, and he's playing really well. And he's one of our best players
Just
going
because
forward.
he puts a few balls into the box does not mean the man
Just because he gets a few assists, creates something out of nothing, you know.
Well, can I
Whatever.
order a taxi, please?
with Patrice Everett left back, not Ashley Young. I love Ashley Young, but we've got to stop this kind of thing where we start falling in love with players where we get this loyalty to them where we think, oh, now we
We get
can't
this loyalty because they play well and they put in effort.
Yeah, they put in a shit.
That's why
They
we're in
put
this
in a
position
shit.
right now. Because there's too many good lads, there's too many nice lads, and there's too many players that ain't good enough for Man United.
Have you all finished?
Oh, dear.
Right.
I love you.
Joshi,
All
once
right.
everyone's settled down, do you want to give us your final pick that you're getting rid of?
On the note of too many nice lads, too many not quite good enough, and wouldn't get into title-winning sides. Obviously, a lot of players have gone, and I would have picked for Lady, but Chris Smalling, I think, will be my final pick. Not because he's been particularly atrocious, but I just don't think he's at the level that we need, and he plays far too much for me. And the thing is, when he plays, you always feel there's a mistake in him. And you know, he has made quite a few mistakes. And the thing is, we've got Lindelof, Rojo, Bailly, Jones, and even Blint can cover in that area. So I don't think he'll be that much of a great loss. And also the fact is, I mean, I probably wouldn't really sell him ideally, but this is a 3 in 3 out debate. But I think definitely at some point we have to pick someone, and Smalling probably is that guy out of that crew, because you've got Blint and Rojo can cover at left back, and they've got that versatility. And Jones, I think, has been one of our better players. Bailly and Lindelof, you're not going to sell them now, are you? So yeah, Smalling, my third choice.
Who was your second choice?
My second choice was Mkhitaryan.
David, give us your final choice, please.
So before we dive into my...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I think Chris Smalling, there's too many centre-halves at United that aren't playing at the level that they should be playing at, so I'm not going to talk about Chris Smalling. But in
so you
terms
agree
of
with me?
my
Good stuff.
third out, because we're running out of names, I'm going to go with
Really?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Because, just you wait right now, let me explain myself. Because we're coming to the end of the line here. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is getting paid a lot of money at Manchester United, and unfortunately, I think he's just picked up another serious knee injury on the same knee that he popped last season. So maybe letting him go in January, maybe if a team in the MLS or in China wants to pick him up in January for the start of their next season, it could be a good deal for United because it would free up that wage budget to spend it elsewhere, spend it on someone like a Malcolm, someone like a Mahrez. And that'd be the only reason, nothing against his style of football, him as a player, but just because he's injured again and he's on a massive contract. And it's only going to be for another 6 months. If United could get out to that, maybe that would be a good thing. And that is why Zlatan, number 3.
Wow. Dave hates Zlatan, clearly. Adam, who's your third, mate?
I'm absolutely gone over here because Zlatan was my last choice, and I was sitting here thinking, no one's picking Zlatan. So and now, like, as I've been going through, I had to delete Mkhitaryan, delete Darmian from my list, and literally my list is empty. So Mourinho out.
Just timestamp that, clip it, and just do the 2 seconds there. Tweet it.
Hey, that's my third one. Get the guys out.
Oh,
They've not played any first team
allowed.
games this year, so you have to pick somebody else.
McTominay.
Whoa, jeez.
Really and truly, once we improve our squad, is McTominay good enough?
Yes.
Well,
Dave, you're a maniac.
I'm not too sure.
You're a youth, man.
Look here, listen. I didn't
You
want to.
don't want any United graduates to succeed, mate. You're evil.
Well, yeah. Bring both Spencer back. McTominay ain't getting a sniff. We need Twanzebe. We need the right young players getting minutes, not just any young players.
Right then, that's everybody's 3 ins. That's 3 outs. We're going to go to a 30-second break while I collect my thoughts. Thoughts are collected. Like that. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pick one of your first, one of your second, one of your third for the ins and for the outs. But before I do that, I'm going to give 2 of you a chance to give a 30-second round. Dave, you get 5 seconds.
Yeah.
To state all the 6 players that you want in and out. And why. I'll give you 7 seconds. You can either make your argument for who you think, or you can denounce somebody else's argument. It's up to you. It's a bit of a free-for-all. No holds barred, apart from Dave. And on the back of that, I will make my decision and let you know that Dave didn't win. So, Joshi, I think you've gone first in both of these, so you can go last. Dave, I will let you go first. McKola, you can go second, and then Josh, you can go third. 30 seconds. Let me just pull the clock up for you. And begin, Dave.
Well, first up, I think that the key signs for Manchester United need to come on the right-hand side midfield, and of course at right back, Sidibe, Muller, and of course Savic are going to be perfect. Out, it's got to be Blind, Romero, and Ibrahimovic. I'm just going to spend some time and attack the other people's answers now. First up, Matt doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He's absolutely clueless. And Joshi stole my first answer in the first place, so that is why I'm going to win this debate, and that is that.
I didn't steal it.
Dave
All right,
can't even remember who I picked yet. He's calling me clueless.
Tactical voting, I think, is more than allowed in this situation, especially when you've been pulling
It
yourself
wasn't
all over
tactical.
Manchester about Malcolm this week. Joshi, are you ready?
Yeah, I thought you said you were going to go to put me last, mate.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
all right,
all right.
Josh. Go on.
All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go.
So, look, I've already stated the case for the signings that I wanted to make. So let's have a look at these guys. They said, what? Sessegnon, we've got Shaw and lots of cover. Mahrez will only play well for 6 months. Ozil, we've got loads of people in that position. So what's the point? Muller, yeah, decent. Milinkovic-Savic, actually great shout. But Milinkovic-Savic, great shout, but he's like Fellaini. So do we really want that again? And Sidibe at right back, yeah, all right, good shout. But we've got Valencia. So look. And
Stop.
in and out.
Thank you. Adam.
I love that. Joshi said that we've got loads of cover in the positions that I've bought
I haven't
players.
said start yet.
Yeah, he sold everyone in those positions.
No, I haven't.
Adam,
Yeah,
So,
begin.
Don't let what?
Begin.
Yeah, I'm right. They're wrong. Look at him. He ain't really a doctor. He bought his thing off the internet. And Dave uses calculators. He ain't even got that stuff in his head. Vote for me.
All right, I like it. Right, so I was making notes as you was going through all this lot. Joshi went for Malcolm, Goretzka, Fabinho, numerous reasons. We got Adam going for Mahrez, Sessegnon and Ozil. Dave went with Muller, Milinkovic, Savic and Sidibe. I'm going to go with one of you each. So from your first draft picks.
No, don't do it like that. That's not the rules.
Hang on, am I in this chair? Zip it.
Bro.
Zip it.
What the?
So from the first picks, from
three
your first
in, three
picks,
out, mate.
Yeah, and I'm going for one from the first, one from the second, one from the third. So from the first picks, Muller I really liked, actually. Muller I think is a bit of a weird one. He's played a lot centrally, attacking midfielder, number 10, in and around as a second striker. Did start off as a right winger, but we've played enough players out of position and in secondary positions at the moment. We need someone who's going to own a shirt. And for me, that isn't Malcolm. It's not Malcolm because Malcolm is coming in on that underlap all the time, which is what Mata does. I need somebody that's going round to the byline, getting round the byline and throwing crosses in, and that's Mahrez. And he's got a Premier League winners medal.
No,
he's in his prime.
Malcolm's supposed to be a wide man, but Malcolm's always in the middle.
No, he's
Get that.
I like it, Adam. This wasn't the let's argue with Steve round anyway, Joshi. It was here's where Steve decides who won.
This is not the rules. You're supposed to pick the three.
No, I'm not.
Right?
And I will announce the winner later. I might be picking all of Adam's here, so zip it. Right, so Mahrez is the first one. Out of the first picks, I think Mahrez is the one. The second picks, we had Joshi going with Goretzka. We had Adam going with Sessegnon. And we had Dave going with Milinkovic, Savic. I think I agree with the point that Joshi made about Sessegnon. We've already got Luke Shaw. Don't really need somebody for the future right now. And I do like Goretzka, but I think that the fact that he's probably signed for Bayern Munich means that we have to rule him out. Milinkovic,
It's
Savic.
hypothetical, bruv.
Hang on. I didn't say answer me back, did I? Milinkovic, Savic, box-to-box midfielder at the top of his game at the moment. Although I do really like Goretzka. Big, fat German head on him. Like that. But Milinkovic, Savic for me. And then the final one, I like Joshi's with Fabinho. Someone who's going to cover at central midfield and also give us cover at right back. Unless we're going to bring Fosu Mensah back. But I guess that's not on the table for us right now. So it's actually 1-1 apiece from the first round, which means it's going to come down to the second round. The outs.
Which of my players did you pick?
Mahrez.
I kind of just zoned out.
And I think on Mahrez as well, he's got the most assists out of all of them. He's got 7 assists in a garbage Leicester team, as well as 8 goals. He's outperforming despite the fact that he might be getting sold. So he's a player that I would really like to see. And I don't want to see him go to Liverpool because I think he'd be really good there. Right, on the outs. First lot of outs is Damian Fellaini or Romero.
You can't have Romero in there. Come on.
It's Damian. It's got to be Damian. He's barely played. Mourinho clearly doesn't trust him. It's such an easy one to get rid of. So there's one to Joshi there. The second ones is Mkhitaryan, Young, and Blind.
Ashley Young. Go on. Go on, Steve. Go on, Steve.
You already know.
Do you want to start this again, Steve?
You already know. It's Ashley Young.
What is wrong with you?
And final, we've got Zlatan, McTominay, and Mike Smalling. And you know what? I agree with Zlatan. I think Zlatan is doing absolutely nothing for the club at the moment. He's getting paid so much. We've got a couple of months left at tops with him. He might not even play for us again, which means it's 2-2 for everybody. I can't even pick a winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
That is
So what I'm
nonsense.
going to do is I'm going to pass it to you guys in the comments. Who has got the best 3?
Exactly,
Bang it in
you
the
take
corner,
the
up
3.
here. I think it's up in
you
this
take
side.
the 3. You don't
It's on
take
this
an
side.
individual.
Give us the
Steve,
best
okay.
3. Who made the best arguments out of all of these guys as a whole for the 6 players that they've picked? Not just the 3-ins, not just the 3 outs, not just one of them. I'm handing it over to you guys. You guys pick the winner. We'll stick a card up here. Comment it. Bang a vote up in here. Who won? Joshi, Dave, or Adam? Let us know in the
Clearly,
comments.
I won on that, on those parameters.
Anybody
Logic,
that called themselves-
To be fair,
reason.
I added a lot to your answer, Joshi, and I added a lot to Mac's answer as well, so I think I'll take the victory.
I won.
See, I can't decide.
Oh.
These lads can't decide. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back at 11 o'clock tonight with some
Dave
more
didn't even give
stuff.
a reason for
Go give all of these guys a follow, apart from Joshi, because he's a slap.
Dave doesn't even watch.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Laters.